Hello everyone, a quick video on some crazy modes to improve cooling on this HP Zbook G5, but this is gonna be like a general instruction video on how I do this kind of stuff. So let's start by stating that this machine has a particularly huge gap between the motherboard and the upper structure. The upper structure here is metallic, so it's a great place to dump heat on, and that's our goal here with these modifications. In general, when you do these kind of modes, you have to look for the clues for the exact height here, and you can see them here. Those three dots, three points here, extruded here on the structure, are exactly corresponding to these three dots here. So you can tell that this is the height, the maximum height compared to the motherboard, and then you have this structure for the heatsink assembly upstairs over the motherboard. So this is like a little bit higher. And okay, so here's a 3mm heat spreader compared to the height of the extrusion on the metal. So you can clearly see that this is much shorter. So I put two of these here in these areas. Here, this area here is probably over the speaker in this area here, so I don't want them to touch. Of course, you don't want this to touch the speaker, which is a lot taller. That would not let this whole assembly flat. So I also use this part here, this place here, as a reference, and I try to keep the distances coherent here. And well, anyways, on those two things, on those two heat spreaders here, I will put some thermal pads to make up for the eventual height differences, and I left this spreaders untouched. While on this area here, you can see that there's a slight bump on the metal on this side, on the central side. So for the central part of the motherboard back, I prepared two heat spreaders with the fined with the surface, the upper surface here, the grill fined, so it's a little bit shorter than the one without fining. The standard one has like rounded tops, while the fine one have more of a flat top. You see, I don't know if it's easy to see with the camera here, but yeah, I just flattened the surface here, so these are a little bit shorter, and they will probably perfectly match this area. So I will cover them with only thermal paste, not thermal pads. And thermal pads are ready on the right side here, and now we have the heat spreaders placed in place. In this area, I could put some 3mm thermal pads, but 3mm is probably not really gonna do anything other than in this area. So I'm gonna just put a stripe here. It's not probably do anything because it's, yeah, I'm not even gonna bother, I think. Or maybe I can just turn it this way. This way it should work. So I'm gonna create another one that is slightly taller by cutting. Okay, here it is. So this will probably need some glue to be kept in place, and then it's gonna be pressured down. I don't know, because if it's lying down like this is 3mm. Not probably gonna do much because this whole area is empty. So I don't know about this. Maybe I'll just leave it like this here, and just, yeah, it's a bit of a waste maybe, but this way it's not gonna fly around. But yeah, this is very bad engineering. Some motherboards just have 1mm of tolerance between the board and the structure, but this one has more than 3. It's awful. There's a lot of wasted space. But anyways, these metal areas have been passed with some sanding paper. There's a piece of cardboard between the screen and the assembly here, so that no drops can ruin the screen. Some 1.5mm thermal pads are placed over the heat spreaders. They will just give pressure down. Motherboard is back. I only needed to detach those 3 connectors on this side because I only moved the motherboard like this. I didn't have to disconnect anything up there. The less you disconnect, the less risk you take. Some additional spots for thermal pads up here, up here, up here. They're gonna transfer the heat from the heat spreader main assembly to the top of the case. PTM 7950 is applied on in the core. On the GPU, I'm gonna use thermal paste. These thermal pads on the sides here are to pressure down the heat spreader against the thermal pads on the other side, and these one are just for stability in the center. I placed, I think, all the screws back to the motherboard and start to reassemble everything. Okay, so here we are running Cinebench, and the CPU package power went up to 86 watts, while previously it was running around 55 to 57, and the temperature are the same. Like, I was still hitting the thermal limit, the throttling limit, but that was happening at a much lower power. Now it's settled at 45, it's probably the second limit, so we're not thermal throttling anymore. We were running at 900 points and now we're 1028. So it's not a huge improvement. I was expecting a little bit more, but it's also not running at the fastest full speed, so it seems like it's designed to hit a thermal limit. Now we're running the second loop and we're not reaching 86 watts anymore, so it's probably, yeah, power limit 2, hitting the power limit at 57 or something. It's weird now, it's 50 watts and 82 degrees, so it's, yeah, it's a bit messy. Let's consider that we're in the middle of a heat wave in Italy here. Like, it's 37 degrees outside and probably about 35 in the lab. Yeah, here's the score. Now we're getting the same exact score as before, 918, but we were previously getting 918 with thermal throttle, like with 100 degrees, 98 degrees. And now the second run was all around 70 to 75 degrees. Let's now reset the clock, the hardware info, and let's run again and see what happens. So third run, seems like we're not, oh wow, yeah, okay. We're back to the 100 degrees, 98 degrees and the 87 watts limit. So this should be another run where we get more than 1000 points. Fans are kicking up. The central area here is getting very hot. Everything's getting quite hot on the surfaces here. We now hit the power limit, which I don't know really. Maybe it's a VRM throttling issue, and we should be, yeah, more than 1000 again. So yeah, it's not like this machine has very good cooling, and it's not like the current situation is ideal for any computer to run, but it's a huge improvement, of course. Like, we